Hello and welcome to Sunil Pudar. In this video, we will discuss management process and functions. So let's begin. Management process. Management is a process that unites the limited material and human resources and inspires employees to fulfill the organization objectives. The act of management is ongoing. It comprises of a group of interconnected tasks or operations required to accomplish specified organizational objective. Management process refer to collection of various actions. A process is a methodical approach of carrying out tasks. It focused on turning input into output. One example of management process is plan, do, check, act (PDCA) cycle, also known as Deming cycle or SWOT cycle. This process is a continuous cycle of improvement that consists of 4 steps. Plan. Identify the problem or opportunity that needs to be addressed and plan a course of action to address it. Do. Implement the plan and take action to address the problem or opportunity. Check. Monitor and measure the result of action taken to determine if the desired outcome were achieved. Act. Based on the result of monitoring and measurement, take action to improve the process and continue with the current course of action. Features of management process. Management process is characterized by the features. Social process, because all organizational activity depend on people's willing cooperation. The entire management process is viewed as a social activity. To help people accomplish their stated goals, managers direct, influence and control others' behavior. Managers' activity have an impact on person outside of the organization. Social process includes establish a clear and inclusive goal or vision for the project. This could involve setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and time-bound goal that is known as SMART goal, as well as involving team members in the goal setting process to ensure that everyone is aligned and committed to the project. Facilitate open communication and collaboration among team members. This could involve using tools such as group chat, video conferencing to promote communication, as well as encouraging open dialogue and the sharing of ideas. Encourage the sharing of ideas and input from all team members. This could involve using techniques such as brainstorming or design thinking to generate ideas and making sure solicit inputs from all the team members, regardless of the role and level of experience, and making sure to solicit input from all team members, regardless of their role or level of experience. Foster a supportive and inclusive work environment that value diversity and inclusivity. This could involve promoting a culture of respect and inclusion and making sure to consider the needs and perspective of all team members. Empower team members to take ownership of their task and make decisions that align with the project goals. This could involve delegating tasks and giving team members the autonomy to make decisions within their areas and responsibility. Facilitate regular check-ins and feedback sessions to ensure that team members are on track and to address any issues that may arise. This could involve setting up regular meetings or one-on-ones to discuss progress and to provide support as needed. Continuous assess and adjust the management process to ensure that is effective and aligned with the project's goal. In order to do this, it may be necessary to regularly ask team members for feedback, examine project performance data, and make adjustment as necessary to increase productivity and effectiveness. Continuous process. Management is ongoing, continuous process. Every day, managers perform one or other task. The cycle of management is continually repeated. Each managerial task is regarded as a separate step in the overall management process. Universal, in the sense that manager must carry out management duties regardless of their size and kind of organization. These duties are universal, no matter what their position or rank within the organization. All managers carry out the same task. Administrative tasks are the same in both business and non-profits. Iterative, The activities of management are interconnected. The performance of the subsequent functions does not begin just when the preceding function has concluded. Example: identify the goal or objective of the project. Break the goal down into smaller, more manageable tasks. Assign tasks to team members and establish a timeline for completion. Regularly check in with team members to ensure that they are on track and to provide support as needed. Review progress regularly and make adjustments to the plan as necessary. Continuously repeat this process until the goal is achieved. This approach allows for flexibility and adaptability, as the plan can be modified as needed based on the progress being made and any change that may arise. Composite. All managerial tasks are combined and integrated. There cannot be set of orders that all tasks must be completed in. The sequential approach may be true in a freshly established business when function may occur in a specific order, but it will not be applicable to a going concern. Any function may be performed first, or numerous functions may be performed simultaneously in a manner that composite function includes identify the goal or objective of the project, break the goal down into smaller, more manageable tasks, facilitate open communication and collaboration among team members, encourage the sharing of ideas and inputs from all team members, assign tasks to a team members and establish a timeline for completion, empower team members to take ownership of their tasks and make decisions that align with the project goals, foster a supportive and inclusive work environment that value diversity and inclusivity. Regularly check in with team members to ensure that they are on track and to provide support as needed. Facilitate regular check-ins and feedback sessions to address any issues that may arise. Review progress regularly and make adjustments to the plan as necessary. Continuously assess and adjust the management process to ensure that it is effective and aligned with the project's goals. Continuously repeat this process until the goal is achieved. Classification of management function. Various authors have assigned various managerial responsibilities. These tasks include planning. A fundamental managerial task is planning. Planning aids in selecting the path to take in order to accomplish specific organizational goals. What to do, when to do it, how to do it, and who will do it are decisions that are made in advance. Thinking before acting is a process that involves in planning. Planning is concerned with manager's mental condition. Before starting the work, he thinks. Following planning, management task is like organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, and controlling are also carried out. Planning, according to Hart, is the decision of program of actions through which a particular results are to be realized in advance. Planning is the selecting and relating of facts and the making and the application of assumption regarding the future in the vision and formulation of suggested activities believed necessary to attain desired goals, says Terry. It involves establishing the goals and objective of a project and developing a plan for achieving those goals. Some key elements of the planning function include setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and time-bound, SMART goals, analyzing the current situation and identifying any potential obstacle or challenges that may need to be addressed, developing a roadmap for achieving the goals, including outlining the steps that need to be taken and the resources that will be required, assessing the risks and developing a contingency plan to mitigate potential issues, identify and allocating resources, including people, time, and budget, establishing a timeline for completing each task and achieving the overall goals. Effective planning helps to ensure that a project stays on track and is completely efficiently and effectively. It also helps to minimize risks and keep the project aligned with overall goals and objectives. Organizing. Every business needs the help of several people to handle all of its various facets. Each person's energy is focused toward achieving the company's goal. Organizing is the aspect of managing that entails building and purposeful structure of responsibilities for employees in a business to fill, says Kunj and O'Donnell. Organization offer the essential framework for people to collaborate within to achieve corporate objective. Organizing is a management function that involves arranging and structuring the resources like people, equipment, etc. needed to achieve a goal. Some key elements of the organizing function include defining roles and responsibilities, clearly outlining the tasks and responsibility of each team members helps to ensure that everyone knows what is expected of them and help them to avoid confusion or overlap. Structuring the organization. This involves deciding how the work will be divided and how the team member will be structured. Options include hierarchy structure and matrix structure or a flat structure. Allocating resources. This involves deciding how to use the available resources like people, equipment, time, budget, etc. to most effectively achieve the goal of the project. Coordinating activities. This involves ensuring that all team members are working toward the same goal and that their efforts are aligned and coordinated. Effective organizing helps to ensure that the team is structured and aligned in a way that allows it to be productive and efficient. It also helps to clarify roles and responsibility, which can improve communication and decision making within the team. Staffing. Staffing the roles generated by the organization process is the function regarding an organization human resources. According to Kunj O'Donnell, staffing is a filling and keeping field position in the organization structure through specifying workforce requirements, appraising, selecting, compensating, and training. The staffing function of management involves recruiting, hiring, and training employees to work on a project. Some key elements of staffing function includes identifying staffing needs. This involves determining the number and type of employees needed to achieve the goal of the project. Recruiting and hiring employees. This involves attracting and selecting the most qualified candidates for available position. Training and development. This involves providing employees with the knowledge, skills, and resources that needed to be effectively perform their roles and contribute to the project. Performance evaluation and management. This involves regularly assessing employees' performance and provide feedback to help employees improve and grow. It may also involve setting performance goals and providing support to help employees meet this goal. Effective staffing helps to ensure that the team has necessary skills and expertise to complete the project successfully. It also helps to build a strong and productive team culture, which can improve morale and motivation. Directing. Executing the desired plan is what direction is all about. It starts organized, planned action and assures effective performance from subordinates in order to complete group tasks. Management in motion is what is meant by direction. George Terry once said that direction is moving to action and delivering stimulative power to the group. The manager's job is to direct and oversee his subordinates after organizing, planning, and staffing. According to Massey, the overall way a manager affects the behavior of subordinate is known as directing. After all preparation have been made, it is manager's final step in motivating others to take actions. At all management level, directing is a continuous task. The primary tasks involved in directions are leadership, communication, motivation, and supervision. Leadership. To increase their performance and accomplish organization goals, a manager must provide commands, provide guidance, and counsel his staff as they work. The process by which an executive or management creatively direct, guides, influence the work of others in selecting and achieving certain goals by mediating between the individual and organization in a way both will derive the most joy is known as leadership. Leadership is the capacity to instill in others a sense of confidence and zeal as well as desire to follow. A manager needs vision, desire, initiative, self-confidence and personal integrity in order to be great leader. Consider autocratic and democratic leadership as appropriate for the various scenarios that may call for them. Communication. One of the most significant managerial tasks is communication. It is reportedly the biggest issue facing management right now. Most of the time that managers are at work is spent talking to other people. Communication is a tool used to alter the subordinates' behavior and bring about change in their activity. Communication entails the exchange of like ideas. Getting the sender and the recipient tuned in for a certain message is the essence of communication. It describes the sharing of concepts, sentiments, feelings, information, and the knowledge between the two or more people. Given that it requires both information and comprehension, communication is a two-way process. It could be spoken, gestural, or textual. When communication goes through the official channels established by the organization structure, it is said to be formal. When formal routes are not followed, communication is informal. Both subordinates and superior communicate with each other in a downward and upward spiral. Additionally, it follows between two or more peoples who are in the same position of power. Planning and decision making at all management levels depend on effective communication. Both effective and ineffective managers are strong communicators. Planning and decision making at all management level depend on effective communication. Both effective and ineffective managers are strong communicators. Motivation. Motivation is the psychological process of inciting subordinates to take certain action or behave in a particular way. It is crucial managerial responsibility. The significance is made clear by the fact that workers' ability to drive determine how well they perform. Managers use a variety of tactics to boost their subordinates' motivation. Motivation means the act of stimulating someone or oneself to get a desired course of action, to push the right button to get a desired reactions, says Michel Jussieu. This reaction could be a compliment, a dollar raise, a smile, a preferred location, or a new desk. As a result, a manager must offer personal incentives to employees in order to inspire, motivate, and motivate them to give their all in order to achieve the company's goals. Financial incentives like income increase or non-financial ones such as improved working condition, job security, recognition, etc. may need to be demonstrated. A successful motivational strategy must take into account the psychological, social, safety, ego, and financial needs of the workforce in addition to being effective, competitive, comprehensive, and adaptable. Supervision. Once instructions have been delivered, the manager or supervisor must ensure that they are followed. This is the purpose of supervision. In order to get necessary and directed work done, to assure the best possible use of resources, and to correct subordinates when they make mistakes. One's task is to supervise them while they are at work. All layers of management undertake some type of supervision, but the first line of management has most of the responsibility. Effective supervision is based on a strong organizational structure, good delegation, a human approach, effective communication, and a management by exception. Coordination. One of the key responsibilities of management is coordination. It is crucial to focus the efforts of different employees within the organization toward the accomplishment of shared objective. Every department or division is given a goal to reach, and they should solely focus on their own task without worrying what the other organs are doing. The management is in charge of monitoring if the work of various segments is proceeding in accordance with pre-established targets, and remedial action must be made if there is any divergence. Coordination fosters teamwork and assists in accomplishing objectives through group efforts. It is the systematic planning of teamwork to ensure togetherness in the attainment of common objectives. Coordination according to Dalton McFarland, is the process by which an executive builds a systematic pattern of group effort among his subordinates and ensures unity of action in the pursuit of common purpose. Vertical and horizontal coordination and internal and external coordination are the categories into which coordination can be divided. The word horizontal coordination is used when coordination is required between departments with the same degree of authority. Vertical coordination refers to coordination between various levels of authority. When coordination is needed with the people outside the organization, it is external. When it is required between several divisions of the same company. Since a manager must execute all the other management tasks such as planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling in order to coordinate the action of his subordinates, coordination is seen as the very essence of the management. The distinction between the coordination and cooperation must also be made clear. Cooperation and coordination. The phrase coordination is significantly more broad than cooperation. Cooperation shows people are willing to lend a hand to one another. It is a collective mindset that mostly arises from voluntary action. On the other hand, coordination is an intentional organizational effort that comes about as a result of deliberate activity. Coordination cannot be achieved without cooperation, but cooperation cannot be used in place of coordination. But in management, coordination and cooperation are as important. Controlling is the process of assessing what is being done or the performance, and then, if necessary, using corrective action to ensure that performance goes as planned. For a business to attain its objectives, control is crucial. The automatic application of policies is not guaranteed by the planning of diverse activity. The process of control helps management to implement its policies and take remedial actions when performance deviated from pre-established criteria. If the planning marks the start of management process, controlling may be viewed as its conclusion. Controlling is like looking back, while planning is like looking forward. Planning is useless without control, and control is impossible without planning. Executives at various levels of management continuously evaluate their subordinates' performance. Since control is a line function, control is mostly used to ensure that an activity is producing the intended result. For a control system to be effective, it must match its nature of activity, rapidly report deviations, represent the organization structure, guarantee remedial actions, and be cost efficient. The steps that make up the controlling process are setting performance standard, assessing performance in real life, comparing actual performance to the benchmark, identifying any variance or deviations, and adopting measures or corrective action. Connection between management functions, planning, organizing, staffing, leading, coordinating, and managing are the few of the many functions that make up the management as an integrated process. This task must be carried out by every management at some point or times. These functions are overlapped and cannot be separated in practice, despite the fact that they were nominally independent of one another. The relationship between the management function of planning, organizing, leading, controlling is often referred as management process. This process is cyclical, with each function influencing and being influenced by others. Planning and organizing. Planning is the first step in the management process, and it sets the foundation for other functions. Once goal and objective are established, a manager must then organize the resources of the organization to achieve those goals. The plan and organizing functions are closely related, with planning providing direction and organizing providing structure. Leading and controlling are closely related as well. Leading involves motivating and directing the people of the organization to achieve the goal and the objective set out in the planning process, while controlling involves monitoring progress and making adjustment as necessary to ensure that organization stay on track. The manager needs to have a clear direction to lead and needs to have clear measures to control. Planning, organizing, leading and controlling. These functions work together in a cyclical process. Planning provides direction, organizing provides structure, leading provides motivation, and controlling ensures that progress is being made towards the goals and objective of the organization. Each function builds on the previous one and informs the next. For example, if a manager finds that progress is not being made towards a goal, they may need to adjust their plan, reorganize their resources, provide a new guidance to their employees, or take other corrective actions. In summary, the management function of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling are interrelated and work together to help a manager guide their organization towards its goals and objectives. Each function informs and is informed by others in a continuous cycle, enabling the managers to make adjustments and correction as necessary to keep the organization moving in the right direction. That's all in this video. Show your real support by subscribing Sunil Poddar. See you in the next coming videos.